Welcome to another edition of the channel's Mailbag. So what is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is the part of the channel that you guys actually control. It's based on comments, questions, general feedback that you guys leave either on the YouTube channel, the website, or through one of my social media feeds. Mailbag contains what I think the answer is, what I think my view of the comment is, or sometimes, I just throw it out to the wider audience and say, what do you guys think? That's what Mailbag is. So let's get in to the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Rift Witch. I love these names, I really do. You've got far more imagination than me calling myself the Music Tech Guy UK, of course. Anyway, this was in response to the Behringer BX1, the mashup synth you didn't know you needed, and probably still don't know you need it until it's launched, which was a SMR I did in March 2025. Rift Witch writes, I wonder if the outputs in the final version will be switchable between dual mono and stereo. One feature the demonstrators made clear is it's not functional yet, one feature that the demonstrators made is it's not functional yet with the onboard effects. These days, built-in effects and synths are always in stereo. Now, one of the things I will say about this particular comment, and I've had quite a few comments about the BX1 on the channel, and a lot of them haven't made it through, and I've let this one go through because it kind of mirrors a lot of the other comments. In the fact that there have been actually very little news on the Behringer BX1 since the surprise display of the unit at NAMM. So your question is the same question I was thinking. Or will they have a legacy mode where the outputs A and B come from engines A and B, which is how the DX1 worked, and a more modern mode where the outputs from engine 1 and engine 2 are equally spread across the outputs A and B, therefore giving you the left and right stereo mix that you would get if it was a stereo synthesizer. Now, I've seen this done quite a few times in other pieces of equipment. They kind of give you a legacy mode and they give you a modern mode, and you choose what mode you want to run the synthesizer in. Now, I'll be honest, I would like to see this dual mode operation, because then you can faithfully represent the DX7, but you can also then do some really funky stuff with using the BX1 as a stereo synthesizer that you could, I don't know, use in the studio definitely, but take on the road possibly. Interesting one. Interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for the comment. Next comment question comes from Beware the Decks. There was a computer game called Beware the Decks on the Specky, or something along those lines. Anyway, this one was in response to Kronos 2 software to Kronos 3. Hope for Korg Kronos VST mailbag I did in September 2025. And Beware the Decks writes, you know what, I'm contemplating purchasing a Kronos 3 either later this year or early next year, so that'd be 2026. A few years ago I purchased and donated a Nautilus 80 to my church to use during services, which are very traditional in style, with a pipe organ or piano primarily used to accompany the service. The Nautilus has multi-samples that can easily substitute for the pipe organ. My question, does the Kronos 3 have the same pipe organ samples or very similar ones that I've found on the Nautilus AT? The few pipe organ sounds on the Yamaha PSR EW425 are not really conducive to congregational singing. A few months ago I had the opportunity to briefly use the Yamaha Montage MX8 and was surprised that the pipe organ samples well, those that I could locate were also not suitable for singing. That does surprise me. I have to be honest, that does surprise me. So let's take a step backwards. The Nautilus and the Korg Kronos are effectively built off the same 9 engines. Okay, so the same 9 engines. And the organ engine, which is the CX3 tone wheel organ, is the basis of the organ sounds. So it exists on both machines. So if you think you've got that engine's on the Nautilus, that engine's on the Kronos, and the bass sounds on the Nautilus and Kronos are essentially the same. Yes, they tweaked sounds for the Nautilus to try and sell the Nautilus, but the reality is it's the same engine. Therefore, if you've got a Kronos 2 or a Kronos 3 and you've got a Nautilus, you can effectively build the same sound, or you should be able to build the same sound. That's probably how I should state that. Now, because of that, you should be able to get the same organ sound. Now, in terms of the pianos, obviously the Kronos 3 has the mega piano multi-sample, which some people say they like, some people say they don't. There was the other big piano samples that were introduced with the LS and the titanium versions of the Kronos, which you can get for the Kronos 2. There is also the pianos on the Kronos 2. So you've got a wealth of pianos to choose from. And I kind of think on this particular issue, it's kind of whatever floats your boat. Some people say they hate the Berlin Grand and love the Italian Grand, and other people say other things. Personally, my ear is not attuned enough to be able to say I hate or I love, but I do know I do love the sound, the pianos that appear on the Kronos.